realistically, if I may ask, what to expect from budget. Let's have a broad, expectations from budget, and then we come to where do we raise the resources as the government is concerned.
Let me say that there were three things that policy needs to do in a pandemic, and then I'll come to what the budget can do on that. One is, I think, as was also pointed out earlier, is to act as a bridge between the crisis and the recovery phase, which essentially means that you have to protect vulnerable businesses, vulnerable individuals, and I think so that is the first focus. The second focus is to support the economy when things start improving. I think to provide demand support as well. I think the resumption of supplies, facilitating supplies also is an important part, but resumption of demand, I think, because the balance sheets of some of the companies, smaller companies, of some of the individuals would have been hurt. And the third is to raise the growth potential, which is which essentially means reforms. I mean, so out of the first two, out of these three, the first two, which is to act as a bridge and to support the economy in the recovery phase, is something that the budget needs to focus on. Well, I think if you look at the data so far for the current fiscal year, well, the government consumption expenditure actually in the second quarter came down. And if I do it for calculation for the first half of this year, government consumption spending was 4% less than it was during the same period last year. And capital spending did come down. So this was expected. I think given the lack of conventional fiscal space, government had to design its measures to do more with less. It jacked up its borrowing program because the revenues fell short, and the resources were diverted towards the segments which needed more attention. So, despite the fact that you increase the fiscal spending by 2% of GDP, it was only reorienting it towards the segments like health, etc., that needed. Now, coming to the budget, I think according to what we feel is that budget would need to focus on providing continued support to the smaller firms. I think it was mentioned that manufacturing is the focus, which is right. But I think in the short run, the hit to the services sector is much more than to the manufacturing sector. And so for manufacturing, I think you'll have to support in general through broad stimulus so that demand is created and sustained for consumer goods, etc. But I think for services also, which have been hit harder and will continue to remain subdued because of its nature. I mean, across the world, we have seen services have been hit harder. So I think some support for services, I feel it would should be a part of the budget. The rural economy has been well supported, has been doing well, but the urban poor also, I think, would need some support. Maybe I'm not saying in a program which will continue forever, but I think some way of triggering some employment, I think, in urban areas would also help.
I think the budget should be more focused on spending and spending to the core. It's not spending for central vista, spending for the infrastructure, spending for the capex generation of the industries. And in my initial remark, I agree with Mr. Shah and Mr. Joshi when they said that government spending is also not picking up with that stage, because I told you that in the first 6 months of the current fiscal, 40% of capex got expended in the first 6 months. When we were in a pandemic, why government is not spending? That is a big question mark. I agree with Mr. Shah when he told that it is what is available right now is more. Yes, sir, I agree. But government has to intervene. Government has to come with its own policies. What is the government policy to spend right now? What is the government policy to generate the resources? I will give you one example, Rajiv ji. Just a day back or day before yesterday, they generated $1 billion from BRICS, that National Development Program, $1 billion. So my question is I'm not against this. They are generating this for Manrega. But question is that why 9 months? 9 months baad ye kyun hua? Why can't it happen in the month of July or June or August? So more you will delay, the more that there will be more fiscal impact required to fill that particular gap. I agree with Mr. Joshi that we require a urban format of Manrega. We require it. It's not in the rural side. We require urban format, and I personally believe that during the pandemic there are a lot of middle income group job losses. There's a lot of salary cuts for middle income group. When we compare our COVID data with American COVID data, when we compare our mortality rate with American mortality rate, why can't we compare our fiscal input for the COVID with the American fiscal impact?
One is manufacturing and second is the health sector. Now in manufacturing, the biggest question that the government has is one, addressing the perception of protectionism and import substitution to encourage manufacturing. Let's look at some of the figures. Government is targeting $1 trillion as exports by 2025 on a GDP of 5 trillion. Leave aside the debate that whether we'll be getting there at the $5 trillion or not, but that's a nice aspirational target to have. And what role will manufacturing play in it? Now, insofar as manufacturing is concerned, the gross value added right now declined 15% in 1920 from 18.4%, which was in 2010-11. And the reason for that are many. The analysis of end use of products manufactured in India suggests that 79% of our overall imports are for intermediary goods, which suggests the dependence of India's reliance on the manufacturing sector. And there's a very interesting input that has been there. So for example, if you look at basic materials, metals, import intensity is 38%, computer electronics 36%, electrical equipment 36%, fabricated material 31%, and so on and so forth. I think the government in the last couple of years has been looking at this data very strategically and resolving it. I'm glad that Nilesh made the point on India's high import dependence on China in sectors such as the active pharmaceutical ingredient for the pharmaceutical industry. So there are some sectors that require a closer look at it. Now the debate is, what is the action plan for the government for import substitution? Identifying sectors is important, which has been there, where there is large dependence on imports, looking at domestic capability, and then increasing them. And I think the government rightly in the last few years has looked at electronics, defense, certain machinery, chemicals, and allied products, including pharmaceuticals and select agricultural products. If you look at the focus of the profit-linked incentive, which started off for electronics and manufacturing of critical devices, I'm glad that COVID led us to expand the profit-linked incentive to cover pharmaceutical, drugs, electronics, some automobiles, textile products, PV, solar modules, so on and so forth, and now white goods and air conditioners. Now the next step would be the quality consciousness part of it, because you're not just looking at this as an import substitution, but ability of some of these industries to be more competitive to increase your exports. Currently, what we have are fragmented pieces of legislation on quality. So if you look at the Toys Quality Control Order of 2020 by DPIIT, it conforms to certain standards and bears standard marks under the BIS standards. But the focus on quality is very critical. And the focus should be brought in the government's procurement guidelines. So instead of looking at it for toys, you need to have a wider focus. And some of the lessons that can be learned is from the European Union's 2014 directive on public procurement, which ensures branding, which ensures procurement at good quality. This will also help focus on making Make in India a brand in itself, and also in the process look at the export market as well. Now let me come to the second point on health sector, where we are expecting massive expenditure in the upcoming budget, with of course focus on vaccination, but it would go even beyond that. Our health outlay, I would say, which had grown by 50% in the budget of 2020 could even double. So you're looking at, a quadrupling of health outlays over a 2-year budget period, whether that is covering the wider sectors of universal insurance, upskilling of doctors, research activities. I see a whole lot over there. Also, it offers a good opportunity because we rank 42nd on the healthcare index of the IMF, and our healthcare spending is just about 3.6% of the GDP. Of course, we do have challenges insofar as our public health system is concerned by way of deficient infrastructure, deficient manpower, unmanageable patient load, high out-of-pocket expenditure. But I think this is where I would see is the gap and the opportunity space that Nilesh spoke about. How do we get into the Human Development Report Index of 2020 to have 5 beds for every 10,000 people?
The budget is coming in paradoxical situation. We have high inflation, but low capacity utilization. We have low private sector investment, but high foreign direct investment. We have economic data, which is showing contraction, but we have equity market, which is full of hope for the future. Now, in this kind of paradoxical situation, we have to unleash entrepreneurship of Indians. We have to support them in every possible manner so that they can create accelerated growth.
There is a hope which everybody has. And I'll take neither there is a big hope and there is a big despair. We have to move in. Are we in the current situation moving in the right direction? One thing. Second is there a roadmap of where we can move further? There is a space for movement. That is also very sure. One thing, our understanding current situation is bad, but we are moving in the right direction, and still there is a lot of scope for the government to do a lot of things. One thing I would like to mention on talking on the expectation of the budget is that in India, what is happening is everybody expects government should do this, government should do this, government should do this. What industry should do, we should talk more. What economists have to do, we have to talk about them. If government has to implement certain things, it needs a good narration in the public domain. What we are lacking is that narration. If the government is embarking on reform process, there is no supportive narration and vested interest jumps in. So that is also an important part of economic growth and development. And I agree with Mr. Joshi that budget will simply not be a major accounting policy, but it's a statement. But definitely the government at presently is working on new reforms, etc. But these also we have to look into is that after 1991, we had certain good reforms, but major sectors like agriculture and labor were completely out of that reform process. And when the government has embarked on those reform process, the support from the public or economists or narration or from the opposition parties is missing.